adjust my camera real quick. There we go. How's it going, everyone? Um, so, for those that don't know, the update show for Ashes of Creation, which is a new MMO, it's coming out sometime in 2021, is the projected date for it. Um, was released today. It was this afternoon. So this is not live. This is their past broadcast. I went to their Twitch channel, ashesofcreation.twitch TV. So if you want to watch it by yourself, that's completely cool. However, I was going to watch it, and I brought up the idea of watching it on a stream, and the chat seemed to like that idea. So I thought, why not? I will rewatch, or I haven't watched it yet, so it'll be completely first reactions to everything that's going on. I haven't watched any of their past streams either, so we might do that at another date. I know I talked about that as well, but I wanted to get a first reaction look at it and see what you guys think of the game. I'm really excited for it, um, but I wanted to see what the hype was all about and kind of look into it and see what the devs have to say about how the progress is going for it so far. So if I turn on my headset audio so you guys can hear it, should be good to go. And I fast forwarded it. Oh, there's a network error. Kidding me? I will have to reload real quick, it looks like. Possibly. Refresh the page. Yes, so I'm doing this on my PS4 just to make it easier so I didn't have to fumble with a billion other things to try to get everything set up. It's first time doing this, so obviously there'll be technical difficulties along the way, along with everything. Loads in, a 7-minute load time, and ends up being quite a bit longer than that. It's like 1733 is where we're skipping to, so oh, a little further back. Possibly. 1601. I had it perfect, and this is unfortunate. There we go. Let's go 716. 716 it is. We're not getting any audio. Alright, looks like you guys are, but I'm not. Oh, it's my headphones. Okay. Throw it on full screen real quick.
Yeah,
Getting
I saw.
ready for extra life.
I went to bed at 2 a.m. one time, and you went to bed. I saw that you posted something at 4 a.m. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, clearly, I'm not needed here. I'm gonna go get some sleep so I'm functional tomorrow. And then, of course, I'm joined also by Jeffrey Bard, who is our lead game designer. How are you doing today, Jeff?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing pretty good. We had a fun day last night. You'll get to see some of that. But yeah, doing good, doing great.
Awesome. I love
Yeah,
hearing.
we're really excited for this stream because last night
We're
we
gonna do a
uploaded
sound check real
for
quick,
some
just to make sure you
really
guys can
great
hear them.
footage. Woohoo!
Yeah. So hopefully you all enjoy that, and we will be uploading that as a separate thing too, as well. Right? That's the plan.
Yes, so that's I believe that's being uploaded right now by Tristan to YouTube. It's going to go live, I think, just after the stream, so you guys can watch it there in its full 4K glory. But we're also going to show it on stream as well.
Yeah, it will be cool. So I'm just going to go over kind of like what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to do a studio update. We'll do some design, and we actually have a really long video for you that we'll be playing. We have our environment update, character art update, and a Q&A as well. So it's going to be a long one with a lot of goodies. I do have some quick updates for
Looks
you
like you
all.
couldn't. I
So I'll just
apologize.
pop
They
over to
are
those.
currently just introducing
Just so you
themselves.
know, we did just wrap up our immersion dev
Apologize
discussion.
that
So
you
thank
weren't
you
able to hear
all
them.
for joining us and
Turn
giving
them
us
off.
a lot of great content there. Toast has wrapped up that and sent over the compiled takeaways to our
I'm
dev
going to
team.
pause the
So they
stream as
will
well,
be
real
looking
quick.
over that report. Our next one is going to be on housing and decor tools. So we were really excited.
Okay, yeah, you
To
guys
hear
can
your
hear them
guys'
now.
feedback
Just
on
wanted to
that.
make
I know
sure.
design is working on a lot of housing stuff. You're actually going to see some of that stuff here as well, and some node relevant stuff. So definitely give us all of the goodies and details on that front.
Should be
Beyond
good to
that,
get out.
we do
Welcome to the
have
stream. We're
we
currently
put out a really cool coloring book,
watching
and you all have
uh,
definitely
the
submitted
Ashes
some
of
really
Creation
neat
update show.
coloring book submissions. So we wanted to.
We're gonna walk through it step by step and get our first reactions of it. This streamed earlier today, and you can watch it on your own if you'd like to on their Twitch channel, which is up in the left-hand corner of the screen. Ashes of Creation on Twitch. But we're gonna walk through it together and see our first reactions. I have not seen it personally, so this will be my first time as well.
It's so
Spotlights.
cute.
Yeah, we want to spotlight some of those. So here we go. I'm just going to show a couple.
Looks like they're showing some
Um,
fan art real quick.
Thank you for submitting these. Some
Yeah,
really
those are
crazy
great to see.
colors. And then last but not least, people have been asking us about a Halloween contest. And we're not going to give you all the details yet. We'll have an article that will have all the information. So go to ashesofcreation.com/news. But we have our
Ooh,
Glorious Gourd
they're
contest
gonna have a
coming
Halloween
this
contest.
October again. So stay tuned. We'll have all the details on what you can expect on that front here soon.
And to be clear, I think there's a specific prizes for the Glorious Gourd contest, isn't
Do
there?
we have prizes?
I think there's like some Alpha 1 keys that we might
What?
Ooh,
Okay.
Alpha 1 keys. Interesting. So you can get into the Alpha if you
Yeah, so
win this
we'll,
contest.
we'll have more details
That's
about
exciting.
that. So stay tuned and do let us know your thoughts on that front. Okay. So with that, we will just get right into it. So Stephen, walk us through the studio update and tell us all the things.
Absolutely. So we have had a very successful previous round of hiring. We went in with 24 open positions, and I believe we are at 20 as of today that we have hired from the 24. So there's still 4 positions. You will see if you go to intrepidstudios.com that there is still a number of listed positions available, and that's because we really don't ever stop hiring per se as we're moving forward. We still need a lot of these positions, multiple people in some of these positions. Our next hiring round is probably going to be in January. That's when we really go with a number of additional positions and we kind of go into full on recruiting, and that's going to be coming January. The studio update from a move-in standpoint, we have delayed our new move back to the studio. We're still working from home with COVID stuff, but we've
That
delayed
makes
that until the
sense.
beginning
Everyone seems
of
to
the
be
year
delayed because of
just
COVID.
kind of two things really. One, we don't know how fall is going to impact the COVID numbers and whether or not the great state of California is going to determine that offices that are non-essential can no longer work in their offices. And I'd hate to put the studio through getting back into the office and then having to go back to home. So we're going to wait and see what happens in fall. And then additionally, we have some deployments that are coming at the end of this year, Alpha 1 being one of them. And I don't want to mix up that hard work that many of us are going to be going through during that period and also have to juggle a move back into the studio. So that's probably going to come beginning of next year. Things are going really good from a development standpoint. We have had a lot of work done over the past couple of months since, July, really when we started getting into some of that testing. We had some great tests this last weekend. We had about 440 some odd testers in on Saturday and Sunday, and we have been collecting a lot of data on performance optimizations, bug fixing. Really can't kind of express enough the hats off to our testers who have gone through this very, very buggy, preview of Alpha 1, which is great because we get to get all that stuff out of the way as we get closer to actually delivering Alpha 1. So major hats off to
Alpha 1 is what I'm here
to
today.
really good.
Headed to excited about.
Yeah.
I want to know when the start date
So
of it
thank
is.
you,
Obviously, I'm not
for,
part of it.
following
I'm looking
along
to
with
get into
us.
Alpha 2.
And we have been posting the job positions that have been available on our socials.
But they have
so
no
follow us on
future
all of our
dates at the
social
moment.
channels
So
and our LinkedIn
Alpha
if
1
you're
is kind of
interested
like
in
the
those
idea of
positions, or you know someone
when
who
it'll
would
start so
so
that we know
follow
kind
up
of
with
the
us.
idea of the rest of the schedule and how that's
We'd
going.
love to have them join our Intrepid family. With that, I think we're ready to go into design stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
If you're
quick,
interested in the jobs, they're
you can go through
also
the video
listed
in there
on
if you
their
wanna kind of preempt
Discord.
for
You can
some
follow
stuff
them on their
first.
Discord
I
as
think
well.
let's just preempt maybe the video just a little bit, and then we'll just go into the video and we can chat afterwards. What do you think, Jeff?
I think that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little preamble to the video here, obviously, disclaimer necessary. This is the preview to Alpha 1, so technically still pre-alpha. Not a lot of polish, not a lot of optimizations. The UI is completely placeholder. However, in this video, what are we discussing, Jeff?
Well, sometimes it takes a little while to get from one place to another, and it helps if you have a mount. So we're going to be talking a
Ooh.
little bit about mounts.
We just had a
specifically
conversation
mounts
with
that
my
are
chat the
not
other day
very
about
good
mounts. This will be
Yes.
interesting to see.
So we will see you in a quick bit after you check that out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another 4K video in the development update of Ashes of Creation. Just wanted to take a moment.
This is pre-alpha. They're
talk about the
unfinished
progress and development
product,
of the,
and it looks this
preview
good, which
for
is
the
really
Alpha 1
crazy
that's
if you think
coming at
about
the
it.
end of this year. I am joined by our amazing lead
I mean, if you think of
designer,
just like current
Jeffrey
World of
Barlow,
Warcraft
Resident Mark.
graphics, this is
Hi,
above and
everybody.
beyond
I'm
the
Resident
par,
Barlow.
and
We're excited to show you.
looks quite amazing.
Yay! And then we also have
Or even like
Luperza,
Skyrim
our
graphics.
community marketing lead, Margaret Crone.
Hi. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about turtles, so,
I like your little staff. It's like a little tiny baby
I
staff.
know, it matches your outfit, though.
Oh,
Dwarf
yeah.
stuff.
It's like a dwarf staff, yeah. We also have Violet Light, our social marketing or social media
I mean, you
manager.
can see just the
Social media
graphics, like
manager,
even like in their
Danielle, Violet Light.
shields and ornaments already, how detailed things are
You're
getting.
playing an elf today.
An elf? I'm always an elf.
Today, I was like, always.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's true. That's
always.
true. I didn't think about that. And our senior community manager, Lieutenant Toast, or in this case, just Toast.
Just
No-
toast.
No
I brought my
tiny
best
toast
made-
today.
made
No
today.
tiny toast, no
No
mini toast.
prefix, no
I
suffix.
know. That's so sad.
Simple,
Sometimes it's really
plain
delicious, though.
Toast.
This is true. So, guys out there, guys and gals, we have been testing a lot over the past. Gosh, last time. When was the last time we did that 4K video? It was like in July, I think, right?
As
Wasn't it?
well, yeah.
End of, middle of July or something.
I mean, you can see all the tiny
but we have
details
been
even on
testing
the
a lot.
rocks
We
there.
have made a lot of progress.
I just find this whole entire
for testers this
graphics
last
just
weekend, we
completely
had a
beautiful
little
and
over
crisp. And this is
440
pre-alpha, so this is
testers,
very
helping
unrefined,
us
very
on Saturday
basic.
and Sunday, and actually today, Tuesday. We had a lot of people in squashing bugs, finding bugs, performance testing, pretty much getting as much as possible ready and tested. And we're going to continue to keep testing and getting the Alpha 1 ready for all of you guys to, those of you who are participating in Alpha 1, for those of you to get in and help us find things to iterate upon and test all the great things for Alpha 1. We're pretty excited about that, aren't we, Jeff?
I can't explain exactly how excited I am. It's one of those things where, stuff goes live and kind of everything kind of breaks loose and it's fun and exciting and it's like riding a horse. It's great.
Absolutely.
I think for me, it's been really exciting to actually get to play with groups because I hopped in and I played with a couple of different groups and we had a lot of fun. So
Oh, yeah.
it's nice to hang out with our community. We have such awesome people and
We
super,
really do.
super nice.
Yeah, we do have
And they've been so patient with us.
an
Yes.
amazing community. Every time, I have an opportunity to interact with
I mean, you can see the water
guys out there in
ripples and the
community,
reflections.
I'm reminded yet again why we are doing
The
this,
grains of
and really
sand
what
and the
our
pattern of the
motivation
sand.
is to bring you guys an awesome game, something that you guys can be proud of and we can be proud of too. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate your guys tuning in to our monthly live streams and jumping on our social media and interacting with our amazing community team, Danielle, Sarah, and Margaret. It's a great pleasure to see you guys involved in the conversation and the discussion, giving your input, giving your experiences. It means a lot to our team as we go through that stuff.
Hurry up,
But
get the good
what
stuff.
I'd love to do today is talk a little bit about mounts.
Yay!
Yes,
Yay.
finally.
Finally ride my turtles.
Enough of the introductions.
So, okay. Well, before we get into some turtles,
Oh, come on, man.
The suspense.
let us discuss a little bit. Actually, let me turn my UI on. By the way, our standard disclaimer: UI is placeholder. A lot of things need polish, so keep that in mind. There's really been no polish, and the UI is placeholder, and you might see bugs. So, yes, but
It still looks really good, even for
but
like a
getting a little bit
placeholders.
into mounts. So just to kind of inform you guys who are unaware, we have a few types of mounts. We have flying mounts that are kind of restricted to royalty status individuals. Those are mayors and kings and queens of castles and legendary rare drops from legendary bosses. Those are the mounts that are capable of flying. You may only
Interesting.
see
Okay.
20 or so.
So
on
you
a
have to
server
be
at a time.
either clear a
And then we
dungeon or
also
be
have our
elected
land
mayor
mounts, and land mounts come in
of a
three
city.
specific tiers, and each tier kind of has additional benefits. Those mounts have abilities, and they have skills that kind of get leveled up with the mount. And
That sounds
they can
exciting.
potentially glide. They can do cool roll effects. They can just kind of do a whole interesting amount of things, and that's really tied to our animal husbandry system. So players will have an opportunity to kind of breed specific types of mounts and stats.
So real quick,
skills
this is
and all
what
that kind of stuff. You have a really
I'm
unique
really
skill
excited
set.
about is I want to be a tamer. That's like what I like to do in games is like I like to tame and as my way to make money in the game. I tame. So this is going to be really exciting for me because not only can I breed specifically traits that I want, but also it looks like I'll be able to breed in abilities and be able to market things because of that.
On what's available out there. But additionally, outside of the land mounts and the flying mounts, we also have water mounts. And I love water mounts. Don't you guys love water mounts?
So far, all I know about for water
It's
mounts is
really-
this like
Yeah. It's a
Leviathan looking thing and an otter.
I think we are too.
Yeah,
Um,
because sometimes there can be weird mechanics for them that makes it hard to swim. But I like ours.
Absolutely. So why don't we do a little demonstration of some tide snappers? What do you
Gotta
think?
give her
So yeah, this is
Snapper,
the
snapper, exactly.
What is a tide? Oh, there we go. We got a tide.
this is the
snapper.
tide snapper. This is the one that you see. It
Yeah.
looks like a
Oh my
turtle
gosh, we have
and
multiple
a
tide
leviathan
snappers.
kind of
I'm just gonna
mixed
kind
together.
of walk next to you guys.
Nessie type person.
So as you can see, the tide
So
snappers.
slow.
Yeah, the tide snappers are relatively slow unless they are fully submerged within water. And as you can see, they're not really in the water quite yet. Oh, there's a little spurt of water. Oh, another little spurt of water. And I'm kind of in some weird water.
I love the,
It's
the
cool,
foam
refreshing
right
water.
here.
I
Is the foam lapping up on the beach. It's so beautiful.
Oh, there's
I'm
a coastal frolic.
free.
All right, let me jump on a tide snapper as well. Here we go. So as you can see, it's super slow on land, but once you get into the water submerged on an aquatic mount, you actually pick up some speed. Wait for, oh, I'm walking. I'm still walking. I was like, why am I not going fast? There we go. Yay, and you can go under the water. Oh, we're under the water. This is amazing.
Interesting. So you still have
I
like
feel
breath
a
and
sea
stuff.
turtle or a mermaid or something. I'm into it.
I'm definitely
Underwater.
down. I know.
Yeah, don't drown.
I wonder if you have to build that up because they talked about like
These are
underwater
takes.
dungeons.
Yes.
You gotta
I've
show
died.
them the barrel roll.
The barrel roll.
Yeah.
Oh, don't look at that.
A glitch of
Alright,
the
do a barrel
game
roll.
real
Ready?
quick. Oh, that's cool.
Hey! Hey, that was good. So, I mean, you know, some great things about the aquatic mounts is there's a lot of sea content planned in Ashes of Creation.
Yeah, they're supposed to have
and
like
sea
a whole
content
entire
will
battle
include,
Royal Navy
ships
ships.
of different classes. It'll include raid bosses and treasures and underwater dungeons. And all of these things will be made much more accessible if you are atop an aquatic mount like this amazing Tide Snapper. What are some...
So,
Oh, so go ahead.
I know a lot of people have questions like, will
So you can use the underwater mounts on land
go
too.
as far as like big ships
Looks
can
like.
go and things like
They're
that.
just a little slower. Because I know the Otter
So,
was
yes,
supposed to, they
aquatic
talked about
mounts
how
will
that
be
was
able
on
to fully
land.
traverse the
And then
naval
could go
areas
underwater.
and the water areas.
So I wonder if that's a little faster than the turtle, just because the turtles are pretty slow.
So an intrepid explorer could choose to traverse on his Tide Snapper alone.
Correct. As a matter of fact, there are going to be cool and fun things that you can do out solo in the waters as a adventurer atop an aquatic mount.
I feel like on land, the Tide Snapper should like dig a hole and then bury an egg.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Now, this guy doesn't really like water as much.
No.
As a matter of
Scared.
fact,
But he's a turtle.
he is a turtle, but he's actually a tortoise, a land
Yeah,
tortoise.
turtles versus tortoises.
Yeah, he's a galactic tortoise. So he likes space, honestly, as you can see inside.
Oh, that's cool. Look at the details that they have.
There is some.
That's kind of amazing.
spatial
Like even
area
in the mounts, they have these
as
small
you
little
kind of
details.
Move him around, that space changes a little bit. It's kind of cool. But if you get him close to water, he really doesn't like that, so he kind of escapes into his shell. And you're like, where are you, friend? He's like, all right, I guess it's safe.
That's kind of funny. Oh, there's an like iguana type thing over there.
Sandy and I do the same thing.
Jinx!
Yeah, I like him. Oh, I like the swift.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, we've really got to give props to our animators because all of our mounts are so full of character.
Oh, absolutely. And to demonstrate kind of the difference, so you see, as a land mount, he's relatively fast on land. But if you take him into the water, he slows down. And he's like, but I must swim. I don't want to swim.
Oh, so land mounts can swim too.
Yeah, he does look cool. As a matter of fact, if you take him underwater.
Interesting.
There we go.
Glowing.
Ooh. So many.
He sounds like he can't breathe though.
No, he
The
has
poor
asthma.
raptor back there.
He's
Violet's
struggling.
like, aww.
Oh, so all the mounts are
Look
swimming
at the-
actually.
Look at the raptor.
Aw, but look at it swimming, it's so cute.
Okay, so you don't need an underwater mount
Does look pretty awesome.
to be underwater. You can have any mount.
Oh,
It's
wow.
just whether if it's a land mount, it'll be faster on land. A water mount will be
Hey
faster
guys,
on water.
welcome to the stream. It's Little Sia. I'm a Twitch ambassador, and I just hit 10,000 subscribers on Twitch. A lot of people tune in to see the
Ads, of
emote
course.
videos.
Their new policy,
I
they
didn't
just
have
spam
anyone to do
ads
my
even for
emotes,
subscribers.
And then I found Jinko.
Sometimes finding the perfect job can be difficult. As a designer, I'm always trying to up-level my work, and this was a great opportunity.
Let's go ahead and mute
I'm
the
so lucky that Jinko and I
stream while
connected
this
because
is going on.
What are some of the games you guys have played that have had awesome mounts and aquatic mounts?
For me, not so much the mounts, but when I'm playing WoW and I'm playing my druid, I really love my seal form. Just being able to run at full speed, jump in that water, and also move at full speed is just great.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
feeling.
It's just cool to change form yourself too. It's really neat.
Without stopping, like that's my favorite part of it.
Yeah, like it automatically does it. It's neat.
I just started playing Druid on WoW.
What about you guys?
For me, it's less of mounts and stuff, but I don't know if you guys have played Sea of Thieves, but I really like their like water combat and the way that their ships work and stuff like that.
Mounts are a good way to like
The ocean's
show
ended up
off
being a terrifying place and,
your
like,
equipment
the
almost. I
danger
feel
that
like
comes along with that.
most mounts are the same.
Yeah,
They do the
exactly.
same
Lots of
purpose.
modeling that, like,
However,
authentic ocean
it's kind of like the
experience.
cosmetic
experience in
idea of
MMOs
like
with
I have this
underwater
cool looking
combat
mount that no
and
one else
things of that
has.
sort have not been the greatest.
Agreed.
Underwater
Yeah.
combat.
I like how they all
is
swim very differently. Like
great
this is almost like
I think there's a couple games that have done it okay.
I don't know, like wiggling like a
Specific
snake
oceans
kind
where
of
you really
through,
pay attention to a nail
and now it's
spend a
like
lot of
dog
time with.
paddling.
Um,
Whereas the turtle was just
otherwise, if you just
normally
phone
like a
in, it
turtle.
just feels bad, man.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a lot of, in my opinion, attempts at water combat and or water content that hasn't felt very good traditionally in MMORPG.
Looks like they need to work on the
We'll get
graphics a
to
little underwater.
arcades
Everything's
and
kind of
felt
blurry.
did
I wonder
have
if that's
a
because
really
you're seeing the
fun,
ripples of water and
native
actually
content,
underwater things would be more
both
blurry
from a
than
raid boss
above.
perspective as well
Or if they're
as
gonna
in
clean
terms
that up
of
a little
the
bit.
ships.
Yeah, those ships are a lot of fun.
Yeah, the ships were a lot of fun for sure. Let me see. I think I have another. Oh, I wonder what the bear looks like in the water.
The brew bear. As he
where are
can
you,
get
Steven?
seawater in his barrel.
As he's going through his inventory, you can see that there's
Like, I
armored
think we're all
mounts on
together, but we're
armored
not with
mounts.
you.
Yeah, we're all
Oh
together
yeah,
without
where
you.
did Steven
What
go?
happened?
Where did you go?
I was dancing around thinking.
Oh,
that
I
we
think
were
I see
recording
him
it.
over here.
Is that a fishing
Go
pole?
this way.
I just caught a fish. I'm guessing it's going to be a red snapper. We'll see.
Ooh.
I could feed it to a tortoise that's approaching.
Yes, my tortoise is hungry.
Do I have a bear?
A mule?
You can get a bear.
Well, let's
Yeah.
try the Daystrider first. So this is a mule. Mules have some cargo capacity. First of all, the mule is very excited. The Daystrider is.
This
very
mule does not look like a mule.
Oh
If
my
you ask me, it
gosh.
looks more like an
Yeah.
anteater.
Holy smokes!
Hey girl,
gotta
what
keep
kind
all
of
those-
mascara you using?
Yeah, but she's
all
super
natural.
excited to get in the water. Yay!
Next to the zebra or
I can see
giraffe.
now what you're saying, like at a certain angle, those eyelashes are massive.
Yeah, those eyelashes are huge. Let's see
Gotta
what she
keep all the
looks like.
bugs out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, question.
she's
I
super
know that
tall.
someone had asked this before, which was, will different mounts have different speeds?
Yes.
Like, because this is like a pack mule, will it have a different speed and be slower?
So mounts traditionally will have stat groups.
That's
or
interesting.
speeds
It almost looks like
associated
it's
with
walking
their
underwater.
First baseline stat, and then augmented based on their rarity from a drop status or from the profession of animal husbandry that players have available to them.
What
So
kind of
depending
things will
on
they be
what
able to
you breed
control
into
in
them,
regards to
you can breed speed
animal
into them.
husbandry and creating those mounts.
So outside of the visual differences that are going to be available, they will also have an impact on the health, the types of skills, the speed that's available, the damage mitigation. They'll have influence over, I think that's primarily...
So those are all the traits you can breed into
I guess,
each
from a
mount.
combat perspective, they'll also have influence over the traditional stat groups. So like their combat effectiveness, accuracies, the level of damage that the skills can do, that kind of stuff. Let me see if I can find the bear. Hold on.
Don't worry, I'll just be here fishing.
You should have a bear poke.
Do I have a bear poke? I think I have a bear. Hold on. I have tortoise. I have tide snappers. Oh, brew bear. Got him.
So I know there's several types of bears as well.
Let's take him out. Oh,
So it looks like there is a general idea of certain types of
stretch him.
mounts, and then there'll be different tiers of that specific mount. So there'll be several different bear mounts depending on what
Oh, that's-
level they are, what you breed them
I
into.
like his little swims.
Oh, that's so
It's like he's trying to climb
Yeah,
through
that
the
is cute.
water.
What do I do?
You need to get my beer.
He's like, let me out of here.
Yeah, my
It's
rum
like
is
a
getting
giant
tainted by the
doggy
salt water.
paddle.
Oh, it's kind of prancy. I like it.
Let's try one more. I think I have. I think there's a. Let me see here.
Do you have our little otter boy?
Yes, I want to see the otter.
Tidebreaker?
Yeah, the Tidebreaker.
The tiebreaker. I was on the.
I saw a
tiebreaker.
post of it earlier,
That's
but I hadn't seen it in game yet. Only seen
Tidebreaker
the
is
snap
the, like,
snapper.
otter one.
I don't have the
I don't know if that
tiebreaker.
one's in here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in this build.
It might be. I can try to give myself a tiebreaker. Hold on.
I feel nervous.
Little gaming code, hack into the
It's like
system,
some monstrosity
give himself a little
that's
mount.
gone.
Have we tested this before?
Oh, there's one of the dragons.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Guys,
go around
we're
the
gonna.
corner.
Oh yeah, go around the corner.
Just gonna hide. If we see like a giant tide snapper from behind the cliff.
All right,
Ooh,
I am going to.
dragon.
I'm gonna attempt to
I'm
summon.
trying to make
the
my dragon
tiebreaker.
swim.
Does it swim? Oh my gosh, it does
I'm
swim.
gonna fish.
Dragon does
Here
swim.
we go.
Oh,
Kind
look
of
at it.
swimming.
Look at it.
Oh, that's cool. So even your flying mounts
yes.
swim.
Swim with it.
So it looks like a
Swim.
flying mount will be
These
the
are a little weird,
apex
I don't think
of
they've done yet,
mounts.
but
You'll be able to
that's
fly,
cute.
you'll be able to swim, and you'll
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Our
cool.
animated
walk on
people are
land.
probably like, oh
So it
my
can kind of do a little bit of everything.
God. I
I
don't want
know.
anyone to see.
And again, they said the flying mounts are
and flying
only
mounts,
if you
um,
are part of the
will-
alpha,
are you
beta
able to
testing.
swim at the same
If
pace
you're a
as, like,
mayor,
other
you can
creatures in the
require
water?
acquire a mount.
So no, so aquatic
Um,
creatures in the
or
water
if
will have
you're,
the absolute best speed and performance and water specific.
clear a high-ranking dungeon,
See Jeff's
you can
over
get
here.
be rewards.
Yeah, we're creeping on him. It's like he's got to go pee, so he's like hiding behind the rock.
Hang on.
I have a tide snapper and I have tide snapper. I tried to give myself the tide breaker, and that did not happen.
That's okay.
Yeah, so that's not available.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. I mean,
Ooh,
just
not
to,
letting me.
I'm
to
gonna
give
fish.
you, yeah, go for fish.
Oh, we're getting a little
just to-
buggy.
I mean, guys, just to give you again an idea, you know, Ashes has a lot of obviously complex systems, but they're all intended to provide the players interaction points, basically agency over, you know, how your world exists around you, and that includes the types of animals that you can have as pets and or mounts through the profession of animal husbandry and the acquisition of these things. And they're diverse. They're not just, you know, monolithic mounts. There are specific mounts for specific areas, like the aquatic mounts or the land mounts or the flying and gliding mounts. These are all obviously very important. Oh my God. Did you just...
Ooh, that's the Nighthawk
I think she did.
I did.
Oh.
Hey,
that I'm
Chuck,
really excited about.
Seen any like other questions about mounts?
It's like a
specifically that
dark
you think maybe
griffin.
Steven could answer.
It looks really cool,
Hmm.
and you get that for being part of the alpha.
I think the one that you asked earlier about the different speeds was a big one.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that asked a few times.
Let me
And then
see,
of course, people want more details on the abilities and how they can modify them through animal husbandry.
yeah,
But I don't know if
absolutely.
we're ready to go into all the details on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be kind of developed on that side before we can give like super great answers on that.
And tested, absolutely.
Ooh, what about mounts that can have multiple people on them?
So this is a wyvern. There's wyverns,
The group
dragons,
mounts, absolutely. So that was a
phoenixes,
part of our, I think, a part of our Kickstarter stretch goal. was the
and
group
griffins
mounts.
for flying mounts.
And the cool thing about the group mounts
So
is,
far.
they're going to have specific functionality that relates to multiple people, obviously. And they're also going to provide some pretty cool benefits, I think, that will make them stand out from traditional single-player mounts and kind of functions that the writers have available to them while they're writing based off of certain skills. So like normal mounts, single-player mounts will have specific skills that you level up that pertain to you as the writer, whereas the group mounts will have specific skills that can only be utilized by characters who are currently in the seat of a passenger position. So there'll be
Oh, there'll be
unique
group
passenger
mounts.
positions that have correlating
So like
skills.
things you can ride together as a whole entire squad.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, I'm swimming on this guy too. He's just like, I want some fish. Feed me.
Now I want to like create a serpent, like a big serpent creature.
Like a water serpent?
Yeah, like a big water
Ooh.
serpent.
That'd be
Something
cool.
like
Like you
that.
can like ride like a snake type thing that would just swim through the water.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. You guys have anything else you want to chat about with the mounts and whatnot?
I guess we do get a lot of questions in regards to like cosmetics and how people can apply those to different mounts and like which ones apply to which.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys know, we do absolutely zero pay to win whatsoever, and we'll never have pay to win in Ashes of Creation. However, with that being said, when you have a cosmetic skin that applies to certain mounts, you must achieve that base mount first in the game. So we're not actually, selling power or anything like that, or you're not achieving, essentially these cosmetics to replace the in-game achievement. Now, the cosmetics themselves will be applied to specific types of mounts. Remember, there's 3 tiers of land mounts, there's aquatic mounts, and cosmetics will apply based off of those tiers. So if it's a flying base kind of cosmetic that's capable of being on a gliding mount, you can apply that flying skin to that tier 2 mount. If it's kind of a horse related one here, let me see if I have another horse one. Oh, here we go. So we have this horse. This could be applied to tier 1 mounts, which you can get pretty early on in the game. Now, let me see if I have a... I think I have a Midnight Mare. Do I?
So that's the level 1 horse.
I do.
And this is the level 2 horse.
There we go.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah. Oh, Toast has one too.
I do.
LaPerza, where's yours?
I didn't buy one.
Unbelievable.
I
Not buying
know.
every mount in the shop, rookie.
Well, what more do I need other than my turtle?
You need every mount. Come on. Be a true collector.
Giving
Yeah,
him
so we just
crap
wanted to
for
jump
not
in,
owning
guys,
all
give you
the...
another little
all the mounts.
development update, showcase some of the aquatic mounts and the mounts in general, and let you know that we are hard at work in continuing development towards Alpha 1, and we're excited to get you guys in. So, with that being said, we will see you back on the stream, and hope you guys are having an awesome end of your September. Oh, we're in fall, by the way.
It's
We're
the
in fall.
end of September already.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced Alpha 1 and to be sometime in
Alright, guys,
fall,
have an
but they
awesome
haven't given
day.
a date yet.
See you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Like in
And
the-
everything's kind of gotten slower because of COVID, which is understandable. I mean, people are at home, they can't go to the office and work together
All right.
like they would
With
normally be able to.
that, we hope that you enjoyed a little bit of content about mounts. I know we preempted that it was going to be about mounts, so hopefully people were prepared for that. But there was some conversation. I hope that we answered quite a few questions that you guys had throughout the stream in regards to the mounts specifically. And like I said, this is going to be a long stream. We got a lot more content to show you all. But in regards to the underwater viewing, people were having questions about underwater visibility and what that's going to
Yes,
look like.
because it looked a little darker
I'll
and
have a
cloudier
further
down there.
question after that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So there's a few things to know about the underwater visibility. Obviously, this is a very first pass approach on the ocean, both shader and the post-processing effects that occur when your camera moves under that shader. There are volumes that exist, and the post-processing is essentially adding like a distance fog, out in the water. It's adding a little bit of a blur effect. Those things are going to be revised and perfected as we move forward, just like all the art, as you've seen, over the past couple of years in progress we've shown. They'll get much, much better. So this is kind of the first stab at it. Brian Gans and Tristan Snodgrass, they did a great job with the initial implementation of this water shader and the ocean shader itself, but it'll have a lot more work done to it.
Yeah, and then the next question is obviously, will there be an underwater combat or mounted combat? And I think we've kind of answered some of this question before, but I know there's a lot of new people in the community, so if you don't mind reiterating.
Absolutely, yeah. So there is underwater combat. There is naval combat with regards to ships. This is obviously a very important part of the ocean content that's out there. There's raid bosses, there's dungeons, there's
caravans.
Exactly, trade ships essentially as you move goods throughout the world. All of this stuff is.
So yeah, if you actually want to sell something, you have to hire a caravan
type combat
for
setting.
them
but also
transport
player
it somewhere
versus
to be
player. So it's
sold.
important that it feels good and fluid. Obviously,
And that's where
a lot
like
of MMOs have tried to
PvP
get
comes
combat
in,
right
and
in
people can
underwater
steal your
environments, and
goods.
as
And
many of us as MMO players know, not a lot have hit the mark. So it's a tall order, one that we're going to be spending a lot of time on trying to get right to feel good. But you know, it's being done early on in development, and hopefully we come up with something that's going to feel pretty good.
And just so, just to reiterate, I know a lot of people in chat were saying they really enjoyed Guild Wars 2 and ArcAge. I saw some EverQuest folks in there as well. I know Jeff and I have worked on the EverQuest franchise before. I think it's just very interesting to see like what other people think and like what you guys like too. So if we were watching the chat, we enjoy hearing it. And of course, you can always join us over on our forums, over on ashesofcreation.com/forums. So you can, so you can go check it out over there and give us your feedback. We always love reading that. Toast does a great job of putting together reports. So thank you. The next question I have here is also if people will be able to craft/make items that allow them to see better underwater.
Probably not see better underwater. You will obviously have items that you can create, craft, and/or that drop that will improve.
That's actually
mobility
quite a
in
good
water,
question.
Potentially speed in water. There could be buffs for underwater breath. There, you know, a lot of mechanics there, but I don't know that we'll probably touch the visibility component of it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the blurriness you saw is just a factor of kind of where do we want to go with it. We're still playing with it. We're trying to figure it out. But I think that visibility is going to be a thing that we want people to have like an even Steven kind of experience with, right? That people aren't necessarily going to be able to see farther than other people based on what their equipment is.
Cool.
That makes sense. Give
Moving on to
everyone
environment. We have
somewhat of a
lot them.
baseline that
Yeah.
they have an even
So,
chance at
moving
fighting.
on to the wonderful environment team. They have a lot of stuff for us today. The first thing I'm going to show you are some concepts and then the actual models. So I'll go through these pretty quickly. But we are showing off a lot of the housing stuff as well as node leveling up and what you're going to see in those node houses and things of that sort. So Stephen, if you guys want to talk about that while I kind of cycle through all of these, that would be
Oh,
great.
so this is gonna be mostly cosmetics.
Absolutely. So you see here a bunk bed. As you know, there are family
For
systems.
two dwarves.
For two dwarves, exactly. There is
Well,
a family system
just
in
so you
place,
guys can
and
see it,
furniture is
I'm
an
gonna move
important
my
part of the
camera.
housing system. Furnitures will offer certain in-game benefits, such
Kinda
as
cover
this
her
bed
up.
will have a rested
Sorry about that.
experience benefit. However,
So you
cool,
guys can
fun
see that a little
thing
better.
there with that bunk bed is if you have another family member in the bunk bed with you while you sleep together, you get a boosted benefit from the buff. So
What? I didn't know.
That's interesting.
I know, and the same thing's true for the king size bed. If you are married in game and your spouse is sleeping with you in that bed, you get a different type of benefit. Right?
Steven,
Just
oh my
like turning
God.
all red.
What? I'm just saying that there's, you know, there's a different type of animal husbandry going on there. So
Oh no.
That's an interesting way to put
Oh,
it. That's for
God.
sure.
What's our ESRB rating?
I think T for teen, so right is what we're going for.
Just cuddling. Just cuddling.
As long as we don't display the, you know, like the Sims vibes, like you can see it, I think we're okay.
Yeah. Those pillows look really comfy, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the concept, and this is the
Dwarves,
actual
best
models
Got a
right here.
bookshelf here. And then this is.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just amazed at how much detail they
These
go in. Just the
bookshelves,
little
these are
things that
great.
they're doing.
I think this is Adam Will that did the bookcases, and maybe the furniture as well.
I believe. I'd have to go look at the.
I wonder what
Okay.
race this is, because each
But they-
race
this-
has
whoever
their
on the
own
environment team did a great job.
environment
They
and
captured,
style.
I think the type of visual aesthetic you would expect from a Dunir traditional dwarven type of.
Okay, so these are the
I'm not
dwarf
super cool
furniture,
about it. I'm
dwarven
sad for them.
furnitures.
Well,
No buffs for you.
No buffs for you.
I know that's well. They
But you
get
get
above,
rest.
just
You
lesser.
get rest XP, right, or something.
Yeah, they don't have the potential to create children, right? And the children is part of the orphanage system. That
Steven, stop with the
Then
orphanage.
when a node gets siege,
when a node gets siege and the house,
your
is,
house is
destroyed,
destroyed.
your child that you created via the bed actually gets put into an orphanage. Now,
He said this a million
That's
times.
awful.
We're trying to sell Jeff and I we're like, no, this is bad. Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
god. Oh, my heart.
Are you sorry?
I'm just messing. I'm sorry.
I know you're just messing. So yeah, lots of cool items. There's so many more items being created, and obviously this is like dwarven sets. There's a lot of all the different races that you're gonna see, but we just kind of really wanted to show you guys some of the stuff. You've also seen some concept art of some of these, but now you're seeing the models from our previous episodes of our development updates. So if you've been following along with our journey for a long time, you've gotten to see all of it. Maybe we could do like a montage whenever we launch of like the journey.
I really hope so.
That would be nice because I
think I would really
haven't
like that.
seen any of the other update
Absolutely.
shows.
Next up,
Oh wow, that is really pretty.
concept art.
Is that an island?
Oh, yeah.
Chef's kiss. So if you want to talk a little bit about kind of what we're going for and all these different pieces, I'll walk through them.
Because they talked about
Yeah.
having
So
islands.
as you guys saw in the video, obviously we're in a little bit of a tropical environment, but part of the Alpha 1 presentation at the end of this year is going to largely be in a tropical bay type area of the map. So
Yeah, there'll be
these
different. There'll be like
concept
4 separate
images
type
that,
of
I
areas
believe
depending on
these
your
were
race.
done
You'll
by
start
Ryan
in that
Richmond.
area.
They provide the environment artists kind of sample biomes that they can target both the creation of foliage and these trees. The
So if you want to play with friends, so
different
far it
bayous
looks
that
like you'll
might
have
exist
to
or inlets.
be
and
the
it really
same
kind of
race
creates, I think,
starting
a
out, or
compelling
figure out a
atmosphere for
place
this
to meet up.
this kind of
and-
tropical shore beach environment, and it's a lot of fun. I think really just to explore. But here you get to see kind of the early concepts, and then as we move into Alpha 1, you'll start to see the representation in the actual game world.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
kinda
really
funny, that
pretty, the
first
rock
screenshot
structures.
of
Oh, yeah, I can go
the
back.
first concept
Yeah, I
piece.
can go back.
I thought that was an in-game shot. That's kind of
I
what
know.
the
Looks
like
world
that
is really
in-game if you-
looking at like right now.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
have fooled me based on what we're seeing in the game. So good
Yeah,
job,
like
everybody.
that
Like,
looks
it's coming
like
together
what it
really
actually would
nicely.
be in game and so far. All the
Our designers
details.
are hard at work trying to populate this area. It's going to be
Absolutely.
a lot of fun, I think.
And one of the things really like you're seeing these types of rock formations present in another game that I played where you had ships and ship content. It was really cool. A certain part of the map had this kind of rock formation that was similar here, and I thought that presented a really fun environment for PvP with these ships. Essentially,
Yeah, it's almost like its own little
that's
like
one of the
encampment
the
that kind
components
of
of this
protects them.
environment that's going to be incorporated, having those types of rock formations. It's also a high fantasy type of look too.
A lot of cool vertical space that we can use as designers to kind of change things up and make things feel really cool and different. When you're a ship and you're coming into port, right, you got to kind of watch out what's on top of those rocks and make sure that you're safe and that nobody's going to drop in on you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So mad props to our environment team who has been just pumping out some amazing content, whether that be like the little tiny pieces that you're seeing in the houses and in the structures and in the buildings themselves, and then obviously getting the feel and concept down of these spaces and then being able to create those spaces that you're going to be experiencing. It's been very, very cool to see that come to fruition. So as we showcase more of it, you guys actually saw parts of this area too in that video if you go back to the mounts video. So definitely go look at it and you'll maybe scout out where it is in the space there. I'm going to move on to our character stuff because we still have a lot more content to go through and we have some Q&A as well. So on to the character. Now, Steven did do a little
Oh, that's
sneak
cool.
of our beautiful Ram Strider here, but ooh, this is such a beautiful piece. Jinsey is one of
It's
our
like a mix of like a Ryan,
artists, and she's just
lion,
she does it
lion,
all. She does it from like
Yeah.
and a
concept-
ram,
not even concept,
a
but, like,
Ryan. That's
creating
what
about
it's
her
gonna be
crazy
called, a
mind,
Ryan.
which I love, her beautiful crazy mind, and then all the way to like animating the piece and getting it in game in that regard. So it is just amazing to see it. So I don't know if you want to talk a little about this little bad boy, but I'll show off the different angles of it.
The Ram Strider is again like a tamed mount, effectively. These guys are things that you're going to find in the wild, also raised
Okay.
by people who raise such animals, and they're going to be a fun,
Well,
cool
more like a
complement
lion. It's
for folks.
almost
Yeah.
more like
Whenever I
a
see that,
bear. How muscular it is.
that's what I think of him. Whenever I see him.
That's what you were doing. I was wondering what you were doing on your phone. I was like,
That's a big mount.
Okay.
I love it.
Uh,
Oh, he is thick though. But no,
he
Gypsy
is.
does it.
At least they
Gypsy
have a
does
little bit
great
of humor
job,
to him.
obviously, with these mounts, and this is just kind of another example.
He is very
of
big,
really
more of a
the vast
bear
array
than a
of
lion.
possibilities that come with the mount systems. I mean, mounts are such a cherished and beloved aspect of MMORPGs, at least everyone I've ever played. And it's really cool to have a very in-depth system, I think, to facilitate really complex and unique aspects to what players can acquire, to what they can collect, and that's obviously a huge portion of what many of us as players drive for in MMOs.
And we also just want to make sure that, this feels like a fantasy world. This doesn't feel like Earth. That there's some things that are familiar, but then there's other things that just are out of this world. And that's kind of where we get to play a lot in fantasy worlds. And we want to make sure that we don't kind of fall into these sort of staid kind of traditional expectations. We want to be able to change it up every once in a while. And this is one of those places.
Yeah.
If you just had like a full body like pillow plush of this creature that just was like in your bed with you, that would be just
I don't know about the horns.
Would you get a
though.
buff?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I was talking about in real life, Jeff. I don't know
Oh,
if you get it. Yeah.
A life-size version of it.
But I do think that this is amazing. And obviously, we have a lot of mounts that we've been showing off, and we'll have many more that are attainable in game too. So don't worry about that. So with that, we also
Assuming
have
they're adding
saddles
more
that
and
we have
more
created,
all the
and these are
time.
other pieces that you can put on your mounts. I don't know if you want to kind of talk a little bit about that. Obviously, this is one of the pieces that some of you have probably seen before, but there's going to be many other mount, saddles and barding that you're going to see coming in as well.
So as they mentioned, this is how they're going
mount
to
equipment is obviously very
fund
important.
the
Access
game
saddle gear
besides
for
your
pets.
subscription.
These are
They're gonna have like
gear
in-game
chases
purchases
for your
for
pets. And your pets are an
cosmetic
extension of you, really.
versions
So
of armor you already own. If that
being
makes
able
sense.
to kit them out with
So you
good
have
gear
to
is
made a
something that
saddle
players strive to attain.
to then
And this is an
buy the
example of kind of
cosmetics
how
for
those
that
gears
saddle.
are partitioned on the mount itself. This is obviously a saddle that, in my opinion, looks very good, and I would love to have that on my horse.
It's Faelun style, right?
So there are questions in regards to
Yeah, I
saddles,
think so.
and if saddles will provide any extra benefit to people. Obviously, I think this is a cosmetic one, so this would not give you a benefit. It would just be a cosmetic you would put over the saddle that you currently have.
Right. So you would have to attain the saddle item itself, and then you can apply the cosmetic to that item.
Exactly.
So again, we don't actually
Sell
provide
power.
through the cosmetic power. Right. Exactly. Now, all gear has stat modifiers, so they adjust the stat of the mount and or pet. And then additionally, some gear, based on its rarity, will add additional effects. That could be a base increase of speed for a particular piece of set, or could be damage mitigation for the saddle and or body armor. Those types of things are going to be present on more legendary gear and equipment.
It's funny. People are like, look at my horse. My horse is amazing. Cool. Yeah. I think that answers that. I don't know if there was any other one that I saw in chat. But moving on from there, we're going to move into some armor pieces. And I know, Jeff, you kind of want to talk a little bit about armor on males versus females as well. As you saw in the mount video, you could see that Violet, Light, and Jeffrey were both wearing the same armor, but there was like a little bit of differences between their armor as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
So
I just
female
wanted
and
to point
male.
out, like, if you take a look at that video again,
Okay.
Violet Light and myself are wearing exactly the same armor set, right? Same stats, same everything. But it drops for her, it looks one way. It drops for me, it looks another way. And a big part of that is a small part of that is gender, but then the other part of it is race. So because I was a Vaylun in that playthrough, my armor was in the Vaylun style. And when she picked it up, it was in the elven style because she was an elf. So that kind of gives you an example of sort of the breadth of
I
looks that
wonder
we're
if
going
like
for
you
and
trade
how
it
we
then.
kind of try to capture like
If
who you
I'm an
are
elf
as,
and I'm selling
as
it to a
character,
dwarf,
and
if it'll
kind of
then
allow you to kind of build your look that way. So,
cosmetic itself for
And
that
a lot
dwarf.
of games have kind of taken that direction. As a matter of fact, the inspiration for that particular approach came from my experiences with Lineage 2. I really enjoyed how they kind of had subtle differences between different races and genders wearing the same thematic set. And you would see obviously a crossover with the theme, whether that be the materials and or textures and the color palettes, like that would maintain across races and genders, but there would be essentially a different representation of that armor. So that's a similar approach that we're taking with regards
It
to
makes
armor
sense.
sets
If you're a
in
different
Ashes of
race, you're
Creation.
going to have your own
It's that
techniques
you're going
to
to have
make that
one
armor,
set that
so
can
it
be
would be
traded, can be
different than
sold, can
someone
be
else's.
crafted, and then as that set is equipped by different races and or genders, it's going to have subtle differences between them.
It's always
Okay,
exciting for
so
me when I hear
it
you
depends
talk
on
about
when it's
things that
equipped.
I've
So it
worked
looks
on
the
too, and I'm
same,
like,
and then it's
"Aw,
equipped,
I
and it
need
looks
to-"
different.
Yeah.
It's exciting anyway, no matter who's talking about it. But it's to me, whenever Steven does, I'm like, aw. So this is the dwarven set that we have, and it's very cool looking. I think Steven also might have leaked this to some folks on the Discord as well. I'm not sure if it was everybody, but
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
I have bruises from last week.
No, stop it.
Yes, I
I
recommend
think
following
everybody
their
else is-
Discord.
so we
They
have the
constantly
Empyrean
are giving
cloth
updates
armor
on
that
what's
you can
going
see
on.
here, the back and the front. So I'll kind of go through that again.
Yeah, and this kind of gives you also an understanding of some capes. I know that some people saw a little bit of a representation of capes in Apocalypse, but here you can see kind of the diversity that we're going to have among the capes. You're going to have one shoulder capes. You're going to have full body capes. You're going to have cloaks and whatnot. And
Excuse
these
me.
are all kind of encompassing the back slot item. You can also choose, even if you have it equipped, because they will have stats, you can choose not to have them visible if you wish. If you wish to have a different back slot kind of presented, whether that be a shield or a weapon, that's going to be something left to the players.
All right, and then moving into some, like this is the female one, I believe. You can kind of see it, the textures.
Yeah.
And then I will show you all the male version here.
Oh, okay.
That's
So they're
like-
very
Ooh,
slightly
tighten up that
different,
waist a little bit.
but very similar in the same aspect.
That's a big comment.
Same colors,
I
same
haven't had an opportunity to review
aesthetics,
these, but these look good.
but
though.
the layout
Yeah,
is
they're all
completely
work in
different.
progress, and they did send everything to me as work in progress. So keep in mind,
Nice.
this is a development update stream. This is all work in progress. None of this is final. As we've said a couple times already throughout the stream, even when we were in the mount video as well. And then with that, here's another render.
Oh, that is
This
really cool.
Faelun instead of Empyrean, whereas the other one was Empyrean. So we showed you Empyrean and Faelun now. And
Yeah, I love this.
yeah, I love the like gold like panel plating. It's very interesting. And then we've got some Kalar faces. This is the male work in progress faces that are being worked on. Obviously these are work in progress. But you've seen, I think there's been a lot of commentary about like our models, and I know that they're working through all the models and kind of giving them all updates. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, Stephen.
I want to know.
Yeah,
I'm wondering
absolutely. I
like
mean,
how in depth you
it's-
can get into camera
As you're
character
creating a game
customizations.
the size of Ashes of Creation, an MMORPG in and of itself is one of the largest projects you can do in gaming. But Ashes of Creation, I think, takes it to the next level because we have a lot of ambition in our systems and features that we want to provide the players. So, here you're seeing as we continue development, these base models for the different races will continue to get refined further. And as we eventually get to the character creator stage, where you're going to see a lot of customization and flexibility in the deformations that are available, both from a character facial perspective as well as the overall body perspective. Our goal is to aim for the stars in what is possible on the character creator front. And that requires a lot of custom work on essentially setting the parameters of the extreme sides of the spectrum on where players can deform targets on their character that they're utilizing through the character creator. So this is just continual work moving forward on these base body
They
models.
look really good,
to
very
facilitate
realistic if
the
you think
goals
about it.
we have with the character creator itself.
And this one is specifically Kalar if folks are interested in the race. And with that, that is...
I see that somebody said that I like the bald Asmongold look.
Yeah. People are like, we like the bald. Everyone in chat, I saw that quite a few times.
Is Asmongold that bald? I don't think so. I haven't seen his stream in a while, but
Excuse me. I apologize. I'm yawning so much.
You guys are funny. With that, I think we're gonna swap into our Q&A segment. I tried to get through all of the content really quickly because I know that we had a long video in there. So hopefully you guys enjoy the development update as far as that goes. We're going to grab some of our questions from the forums. So first and foremost, it's going to be our one from Unknown1 on the forums, which asked, what prevents someone from having their friends or guild members
So the
killed
one on
by
the far
reduce their
left and the
corruption
far right
and
have
give
the
them
same
back their
armor,
gear/items after death?
but they look completely different based on
Nothing
their
would prevent
races.
that. If they are capable of successfully hiding away from the bounty hunters that can locate them on a map, and they are capable of being killed, then yes, that is a way potentially that you could manage to remove corruption. However, there is significant risk with that, obviously, and there's significant downfalls with the death penalties that get applied to a corrupt character. So they're not subverting the penalty per se. They are mitigating the risk on the drop of particular gear. But essentially, the bounty hunter system, because the bounty hunters have the ability to locate corrupt players on the map, that severely kind of impacts the ability for people to move to a safe area with their friends and attempt to avoid the loss of gear. But again, they're still going to suffer those death penalties, and they're still going to have the risk of bounty hunters and even other players locating them and killing them.
Yes, that's for
Our
PV
next question here is
player
from
killing.
Sheko, and also
If you player
this is two
kill, you
people
will
who had this
be
question,
put on the
and
map and a bounty can be put on
Sietsu,
you.
sorry if I pronounce your names wrong, which asked, have you decided whether the world of Vera will be plane or sphere? Able to be circumnavigated, which I think we've had this. I feel like we've had this question maybe before.
Yeah, we have.
But
The
maybe
answer
worded
is
It's a good
differently.
question.
yeah, there will not be world wrapping in Ashes of Creation. Yeah.
All right, and then with that, our next question.
I think that'd be one of the
Will
few.
swimming
I've
have
never think I've
limiters
found
like
a
stamina
game
to
wrapping
prevent
game
people
before.
from swimming all over the place? And this is from Mr. Tea Time.
There will
Like
not be
for deep water swimming, probably is what you're
there's
talking about.
well, there's breath, right? But I think he's maybe referring to like the ability just to swim out in the open water on the surface. And there's not a limitation from a stamina perspective. There is, however, on breath, obviously.
Cool. Oh, and I guess that question has been answered. The navigation one was answered in PI, but not publicly. So
Got it.
I'm used to hearing the answer, I guess. Our next question is from Bricktop, who wants to know, will there be a hard cap on the number of players that an AoE spell can hit in PvP?
Oh, that's a
Or
good
is it
question.
kind of like in the conal space or in the circular space, depending on the ability.
So we have not come to a conclusion on that yet. We're leaning towards no, but that is going to require additional testing. I know other games that have done that, and this kind of damage AoE mitigation or diminishing returns. And while I believe diminishing returns are appropriate from a CC perspective, I don't believe limiting the number of contacts made for AoE skills is something that feels good as a player.
Yeah, it also.
I would agree
is the
if
way
I
that large scale PvP ends up playing out.
use the time to cast a giant AoE
where,
spell, I'd like it to
the
hit
the AoE becomes
for
kind
what
of
it's supposed to hit
limited
for.
and doesn't serve as the counterplay against certain types of strategies that it should. So that's kind of, we're still talking about it. There's still decisions to be made there, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And a Waste wants to know, will players be able to party duel in addition to 1v1 duel?
I don't see why not. I like the idea of having group versus group. It's essentially just extending that flag out to the active party members. There would be some complication, no, not complication, but there would be some additional logic necessary if the player were to drop a party per se in the middle of a duel. But I don't see that
makes
as
sense.
being too difficult.
If
so
you
it's
have a
something
friend
that's
with
on our radar,
bad
yes.
internet, they all of a sudden
Yeah,
drop out.
that is a
How that
thing
would work
somebody might
with
try
the
to,
duel versus duel.
scam. So you'd have to find a way around it. But that's cool. I think it'd be fun to put down a flag and you just battle it out. Our next question from Jalan is, if your node is at war with a node your guildmate lives in, does that stop you from being able to party with your guildmates, raid, and defend your castle if the defensive siege happens during the same period as the node war is happening?
So it won't prevent you from being able to party, and it won't prevent you from participating in co-events that are present. So if the guild affiliation, if the desire of the player is to participate in events, they can still do so, but they'll have to be cognizant of the fact that they're flagged for war with each other.
And Zenmara.
And
oh,
by the way,
So
that,
yeah,
that is subject
clarify
to
the
testing
question
and
because it was a little
change. There are some
confusing the way it was
complications.
stated.
Obviously, the affiliation tier.
Me and
the
my friend are in the
affiliation
same guild,
structure
but we
is
live in different
complicated,
cities. The cities are
because
at
there's
war
so
with each
many
other.
what we call pseudo factions. Essentially, being a
Are we allowed to
non-faction-based
still
game
participate in
is,
events
in my opinion,
together?
great.
And the answer is
But
yes.
you need to provide the opportunity for two things: one, for pseudo factions to form, and two, for soft friction to occur between those pseudo factions. Right, and that's what compels players to engage in these types of you know, decisions of friend or foe, right? And that can help to instigate conflicts. But because of that complexity in the affiliation system, there are going to be some oddities that form between different affiliations that you may have, and how they can be at odds with one another. It's kind of the philosophy of the friend of, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of a theory, right? So we have to play with that from a testing standpoint, and that is subject to change. But it is something that is obviously at the forefront of our minds when it comes to that component.
And I would like to preface that all of the content that we put out is subject to change based on testing, not just that one piece.
That's yeah, sure, yeah.
Some things
That's a good point. Every decision that they're announcing is not 100%
large-scale
final.
testing yet. That kind of will allow this stuff to kind of fall out, and we'll start to see where the problems are and what we can do to fix them. So
yeah, for sure.
And I think more and more of it will become more relevant as they actually get into the alpha and beta testing of how things work together.
I can't remember. So our question from Zenmara is, will naval combat be included in the siege aspect of seaside nodes, with harbors having both defensive and offensive capabilities?
Yeah, I've answered this in the past with regards to nodes that are near the coast will have harbor hooks that develop alongside the node's development. Those harbors will provide obviously ship construction locations. They'll provide specific sea-related content and questing. And during a siege of a node that has leveled that harbor up, there will be objectives for the attackers and the defenders to be cognizant of during that siege that reside within the harbor. So there's an opportunity there for ships to engage in part of the siege components when it comes to these.
So you have a risk of having a city near that holds the harbor, because then you can be attacked from land and sea.
Items will be on par with best in slot items. Does that mean we will craft legendary quality gear too?
Yes.
It's going to require legendary quality crafters to do it.
Yep, and legendary quality materials.
Sure has it. Dark Furia wants to know, will gear
Apologize
only
about the
have
quality
a
that dropped real
number
quick.
of times it can be repaired?
No. Gears can be continually repaired. The idea behind the decay system for gear is not to make it, a background thought, as many MMOs I've experienced in the past have done with this trivial, gold component cost of repairing that gear, and that really doesn't scale well. But instead to make it more material based, whereas materials are obviously going to be the life force of the crafting system. As long as we are capable of placing that additional burden of demand on the material systems, that will also help to contribute to the life force of the gatherers and the processors.
So if you go and start hunting and get a meat, the meat's actually going to rot.
And then our
so
question
you have
from
specific amount of time frame to
Tulo
actually
wants
cook
to know,
that meat and then sell that meat.
Tab targeted abilities be augmented to become action and combat abilities, and vice versa? I think some can, right?
Not
Probably
really.
not.
No. So I mean, obviously, there's a complexity layer that exists between balancing action-based abilities and tab-targeted abilities. Now, some abilities, when advanced with additional skill points, can change some of their targeting mechanics.
That's what I was thinking.
But that's not going to be a simple flip switch where I get to choose at any moment, hey, I'd like to have this ability be an action ability outside of its tab ability. You'd have to progress the specific ability to a stage where it allows for that. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, and then also we don't want to necessarily mess up somebody's experience based on what they're expecting from a given ability, right? So we want to make sure that the functionality of the ability makes sense in its progression so that it's still usable by the person who wants to use it, right?
Then I'm going to ask 2 bonus questions as well because a couple of these.
Bonus questions?
Yeah, because
Oh my god.
Steven had mentioned that some of them were he'd already answered, so I want to make sure that we just cover it. So Parsival or Par551 Fall wants to know. I'm assuming it was trying to be leet speak. What a character's cloths. When a character's cloths. Clothes. I don't know why I'm saying cloths. When a character's clothes are affected by the environment, is this just cosmetic or will it change a character's resistances?
When a character's clothes are affected by the environment?
Yes.
Is that
Is
thing?
it just
I
cosmetic?
don't even know what that
or will
means.
it change a character's resistance? So in a past stream, you had talked about how if you're in a cold area, that there may be potential for like abilities to have effects based on being
sure.
cold.
Yeah,
But
you
I
can
don't
have
know if
climates.
there has been specifically armor that will have effects.
No.
I don't
Yeah, no.
think so.
There are climate effects that occur from a buff standpoint. They can also affect skills. Like let's say you're using a frost bolt in a winter climate. There's the ability for those effects to be enhanced and or stronger in those climates. But I
Oh, that
do
is
not
really cool.
understand or,
So
I
you have to
think
take into
So
account your
Sarah's
environment as
saying
well.
that, Toast is saying that it's because someone was saying that armor got wet in another video that we had. Like you came out of the water and it looked wet.
Oh no.
I think we
No.
talked about this in a live stream a long time ago, where we have the ability to like make a thing dirty as it's being used, but
Ooh,
that was
yeah.
not something that we were ever talking about as like something that's
So it's
really
just
going to be
it's
functional
more
Right.
in the game.
cosmetic. Yeah.
And that's probably not a direction we're going to go. Right?
And we're
That's-
probably
if
not
you're a
gonna have
fire
the
mage, you
dirtiness
probably
either,
wanna
because
live in the
from a
volcanoes.
Just
for a defending perspective, your
performance
abilities will do more
standpoint,
damage.
it is really a multiple on the on trying to render as many clients as the client has to render. That's a little more difficult, I think.
Hello,
yeah,
thank
so
you for
there
tuning in.
isn't gonna be like clothing or armor that
I think
changes
we're about
based
done
on
with this
what's going on in the environment.
Yeah.
video.
All right. And Dark
Next bonus
They're just
question.
wrapping up on the
bit
question
louder.
answers. We're doing
Dark
the
Tide
Q
wants
and
to
A part
know,
of
will
Ashes
there
of the
be a
Creations
guild
update.
audit log in-game or exportable that shows who leaves and joins, /promotes, kicks, etc.?
Yeah, one thing I cannot stand as a guild leader in previous MMORPGs is when you log in and your guild count has changed and you have no idea why.
Hello,
it's
hello.
great for us to,
Well, just
perfectly
you
possible
is
because we keep those
still
logs
exciting.
ourselves anyways, for us to provide the guild leader and or officers with a log of events that occur. That includes deposits, withdrawals in the guild bank. It includes promotions. It includes kicks. It includes leaves. Those things should be available for the guild to see.
Yeah, and I know I've talked to Toast a few times about doing some more guild-oriented community things that we'll be doing in the future, so stay tuned for some of that content. Or sometimes they will be like things where we'll kind of get a bunch of people who are interested in talking about guild stuff together. So definitely stay active on our social media. That's right, Berlin.
Yes, it is the Ashes of Creation stream that
Let you
happened
know.
earlier today.
I'll do
I'm on
one
their
more
Twitch at the
question,
moment, just
which is
rewatching
from
it.
Nostra, which is how
If you
might
want to see the whole entire
players
thing, you
be
can
able
go to their
help
own
or interact
Twitch
with
channel.
their low-level friends through the mentorship program.
If I pause, you'll be able to
Yeah,
see it. There
so
it goes.
the
It's up
mentorship
in the left-hand
program,
corner. It's just
kind of
Ashes of Creation.
provides individual quests that
They have a Discord, a Facebook, a Twitter, YouTube. Obviously, I'm on their Twitch right now. I'm covering up someone at the moment just so you guys can see the video, but I'll move myself back. That way you can see her as well. If I can get my camera to work with me. There we go. The person on the bottom left is actually the person who's on the Discord managing the community. So you'll get a face to a name.
can be initiated by the mentor based off of what node
Right now they're
they
just
are
doing
part of.
Q&A.
So these are like requests that are determined by either certain buildings and or
Yes,
organizations.
it is
there,
quite
and there
quite
are
crazy,
specific ones
the
that are
details they
available
go into.
for mentors
They
to
talked
provide
about how the underwater
mentees.
mechanics
And they can
is just
also
a little.
participate in
They
some
haven't
of those quest
haven't done a
lines as
lot
well,
to it
whether
yet,
that be leading
graphic
your
wise.
team
And they're
through a
just tweaking the
dungeon,
underwater, but
or providing a location for them to arrive with you at, or escort quests for the NPC caravans, or these types of things when done together with
I
your
think it's
mentor,
fascinating. You can actually see
will
like the
provide
grains of
benefits both for the
sand
mentor and the mentee as well.
and the ripples
So
in
you're
the rocks.
incentivized to participate with new players. Obviously,
They put a
one
lot
of
of
the
detail
biggest
into it.
problems that MMORPGs have is the new player acquisition. MMOs do great with retention, but they tend to fall short.
No, they didn't announce anything. They're just talking.
One of the ways
They announced
that
that
the node
the
system addresses
basically
that
that
is a large portion of the initial nodes.
this whole entire update was about basically the mounts and what they've progressed so far on mounts. They were showing, that's what this video was that's playing in the background. They're just showing off the mounts. Gave you an update on their hirings, who they hired, how they're progressing towards being more complete for the update of releasing for alpha. But so far there's no update on when alpha will be at all.
In a game are going to grow mainly around the introduction points around the world. And because they change the spawn tables and the area around them, it keeps it relevant for the later stage players to be returning back to those nodes, which, as we know, a large portion of MMORPG's experience is the social experience. And the reason why traditionally MMOs have had a bad time from a new player acquisition standpoint in the past is because new players join an empty starting area that's no longer relevant, and the base player population has moved to kind of an end stage kind of level. So you don't really see anybody in your initial parts of leveling, and that can kind of be a little bit of a downer and kind of be a problem for the whole social aspect. So because the nodes drive people back to these areas and those areas stay relevant through the changing spawn tables, there are opportunities there for new players to be introduced to a social environment.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add, like, the structure of a node itself is kind of agnostic in terms of what your level is, right? So if the mayor builds a building and all the citizens need to help build that building, you as a low-level player can contribute just as much as somebody who's a higher level. So there's always going to be opportunities for new players to engage with these nodes, which is great, right? It's going to make it feel like a living world, a world that is constantly changing, is constantly moving, that there's always something for you to do beyond just your dailies.
That's really good because a lot of games do have the I'm a new player and I don't have any idea what's going on. What do I do? Everyone around me is 120 and I'm level 2.
Appreciate everybody who has followed along with us as we've giving you guys updates every month. We've been putting out a lot of content in between as well. If you follow us on our social channels, I think they're over here. Yep. At Ashes of Creation in all the places. We have a lot of dev discussions that are going out. Reminder that we do have a dev discussion coming up. So definitely join us with that.
Yes, and the
Gourd contest.
The Gourd contest, the Halloween contest.
Some Alpha 1 keys as well as
yeah.
You'll be able to get into the original Alpha 1. So that's they didn't announce that. There'll be a contest. They'll be giving away Alpha 1 contest.
What?
Holy smokes.
So yeah. Since Steven already spoiled some stuff, I might as well spoil a little bit more at the end. So for bonus for people who stuck around, But yeah, we'll definitely have some cool stuff. So stay tuned, and we love you all. We appreciate everybody who's helping us test. We're going to be opening up testing for more people as we progress.
Yes.
But please be patient with us. Obviously, we're working really hard, but there are things that, along the journey, we have to kind of assess whether it's important for us to add more people and when it's good for us. And really that heavily relies on engineering and design and people to really give us the hey, it's now time to test these things. And during these testing phases, you're going to see a lot of bugs. You're going to see a lot of, performance things that we need to adjust. Right now we're in pre-alpha. We're early. So please stay tuned with us.
Yeah, and just to chime
I
in,
know you're
but
super
know
early, but I want to play.
Disclaimer here is we are building something that is massive. And our team is phenomenal. We have some very dedicated, talented MMORPG veterans, and we are all dedicated to making the best quality product possible that answers the call of what many of us as MMORPG players have asked for over many years. We're not aiming to be the WoW killer. We're just aiming to fulfill kind of the promises we've made, as well as the ideas and philosophies that resonate with you guys as gamers. So that process takes time. There's going to be unknowns, things
It makes
that come
sense.
up that we have
The
to
game that
address,
everyone
because
actually
our
wants to
end
play
goal
has
is to
never been
take the time
released, and they're
necessary
taking the
to
time to
deliver
do
the
it.
product that we promised and that you guys want to have. So bear with us during this process. It is a lot of work. And we're happy to do that work because we want to see a smile on your guys' faces.
We want to play too.
And we want
Me
to
too.
play too, exactly. But we so much appreciate your guys' support and tuning into our to our live streams. Go follow us on social media. We have a great community team that does an awesome job in having some fun interactions with you guys out there. And we'll do some events in the future. And if you're not registered for the website, go register, participate in the forums, chat with us. We love to hear your feedback. We love to hear your experiences. It's all really important to us.
Yep. Please definitely send that our way. We do have the cosmetic swapping over soon, so stay tuned for the next set. We also have a creative director's letter that will be coming out soon as well. I know Steven's working on that. We've had a lot of stuff that has been going on our side, so we're trying to get prepared for all of the things. And yeah, stay tuned with us. We have a lot more stuff to show you all along our journey, and we'll see you next month for some more content. We'll also be uploading that other video as a 4K video, I believe. It's just taking time for us to render it out and upload it. So once it's up, we'll release that as well as this live stream as well. So thank you guys and gals and pals and everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next month for another development update.
Love you all. Have an awesome week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Well, that was pretty cool. So I didn't get what I wanted out of it. I was hoping they would announce kind of an idea of when the beta or alpha would come out, but nothing of the sort, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this is their Twitch page if you guys were looking. So this was obviously earlier today, 7 hours ago. They streamed it about 1 o'clock my time. If you're in a foreign language, you can click here. I don't know what language it is, but they do have it in a foreign language. Their past streams as well. Highlights of their streams. Obviously, this is little clips of their recent. Welcome to the channel. The stream just ended. We're just kind of going over and talking about it. Oh, I just loaded. But yeah, so if you guys are interested as much as I am, I will continue to rewatch these along with them and then make comments and give you my initial reactions. They talked about the dev update, which is this week, I believe, Friday. They have the dev update, and that you want access to that. You can go to their Twitch or not their Discord, and it has their dev updates on it, and I'm sure they'll do it on the streams as well. So yeah, this whole entire thing, they were just kind of talking about the skins, what they've done graphic wise to update the game, and letting everyone know that they're chugging along still and working out bugs. As we saw in the video, I know you guys just joined, but they're underwater. There was a little lag and a glitch of the water there. Kind of go back to here and just kind of have it running in the background as we talk about it.
But we have been testing a lot.
So this is the end game. Their little video about they're talking about mounts. But yeah, they didn't announce anything about when alpha will be. That they're still working towards it. They do have a lot of cool mounts. Not all of them were in the game. They did mention that the underwater mounts, all they have in game right now is the turtle, tortoise looking thing. They don't have the otter, which we saw You can go on their online and see graphics of it, but they don't have it in game. They did announce that there is just 2 types of mounts. There is land and water. Technically, the flying mounts are considered land mounts. They're a high tier land mount. And they'll only be offered through dungeons, high level dungeons, or if you're part of the alpha and beta. Or the final way to get them is if you're a mayor, governor, or leader of a town, basically. Leader of a guild. Guild leaders will be able to acquire them. I'm assuming through some kind of monetary aspect. I don't think just because you're the leader of a guild, just be given what everyone would be creating their own guilds. Then that would be kind of pointless to make an exclusive type item. Then they talked about what a tamer can do. So a tamer will be able to breed not only the way a mount looks, but also you can breed. Each mounts will have they'll actually have abilities that you can have them fight alongside you with. So you'll be able to breed it into abilities, stats. So you can make it more of a tanky, defensive type mount with lots of HP and damage mitigations. More of an offensive one where it gives you and more attack, like it can give you attack buffs, carrying capacity, and then there'll be mounts not only for individual ones, which we've seen so far for like you to ride around, but also your entire guild. You'll have like big gigantic mounts where like a whole group of players can ride. And then you can have like, depending on who's riding it, they'll have different abilities. So if it's just you, it'll only have its basic abilities. But if you and a person is riding it, and maybe you'll be able to have special abilities because I don't know, let's say it has a turret on it. Well, if you're driving it, you can't shoot the turret that's on the side, but your passenger can, so your passenger will be able to do. It doesn't look like they'll be breeding flying mounts, but you'll be, maybe, I don't know. They didn't mention anything about breeding flying mounts. I'm assuming that because they'll be like legendary tier loot, it'll be very hard to get the same type over and over again, but I'm sure if there'll be a way to do it. I don't know why they wouldn't. They're trying to make it as most expansive as possible, but no, they did not mention anything about breeding flying mounts. Only that their only access is by clearing these high-level legendary type quests. So yeah, you'll have a lot of aspects to breed into your qualities of mounts for being a tamer. They showed off that land. So just because you have a land mount doesn't mean you're not able to go underwater. You can. It'll just be a lot slower, and vice versa for water mounts. If you have a water mount, you can ride on the land. They're just severely slow on land versus underwater. They're super fast. Flying mounts can do all 3, where you can fly, walk on land, and go underwater. So kind of flying is the legendary apex of mounts, basically. And your kind of goal towards it. But obviously, if you want a guaranteed flying mount, the easiest way is to be part of the alpha or betas, which you can get into still. They have different tiers. I believe the cheapest one is $75 to get into beta 2. I think it goes up to $150 or something like that for beta 1 and beta 2. Maybe it's $200. I think it's $200 for beta 1, beta 2. And then to get into alpha 2 and beta 1, beta 2, that's $400. But each tier also has perks for paying into that respectively. And I know the $400 one gives you 9 months of gameplay, so it's going to be $15 a month subscription, I believe. Don't quote me. It's been a while since I looked. So if you think about it, you're getting a little over $120 worth of playtime right there. So you're really only paying like $280 to get access to all of them, plus free mounts, free equipment that's legendary. But it does really look cool. As you can see right now in the background, they're underwater. They talked about how the visibility is not 100%. There's the glitch I talked about. So they're still developing, and even like the way the land looks. Underwater, they haven't done quite a bit. How everything's out of focus, they're not for sure about it. But look at that scene, just the cosmetic currency for the game. So yeah, so they talked about how cosmetics are, since it's going to be no pay to win at all, you're going to have to earn everything. If you have a mount, and if you want to have a cosmetic of like, say, a saddle on that mount, you have to go out, get the materials, and build the saddle or buy the saddle. You can, for someone that already made the saddle, and then you can cosmetic that saddle, if that makes sense. So you have to go out there and actually do the work to have a saddle, to then buy a cosmetic to change the look of that saddle. The last final thing they mentioned at the very end, I don't know if, is in the question and answer, they talked about how the environment will also affect everything. So if you're in the volcanoes, and you're casting fire spells, yes, there'll be currency for the cosmetics in the pre-order. I apologize. So if you're in the mountains or the volcano area and you're casting a fire spell, it's going to do more damage and have bonus effects. And the same is vice versa. If you're casting an ice spell in the volcanoes, it's going to do less damage and have debuffs to that spell, because you're trying to cast ice in a very hot volcanic area. Same with the snowy mountains. If you cast a fire spell, it'll do less damage. So there'll be not only you won't only have to think about what abilities you want to level and what those are, but where you're fighting. If I have my city in a mountain area that's all ice and snow around me, I might look into developing more ice abilities. That way, if I'm being attacked and raided, I can equip myself better and have better damage for someone else. Same. They showed an idea of this is kind of the island area they were talking about. That's supposed to be more tropical, what it looks like, and they're showing off different mounts. But yeah, that's kind of what they talked about at the moment. I'm very excited. Hi Wolf, sorry you're late. I missed you. I will be still streaming. I'm gonna end this stream. That way, it's just one solid video about Ashes of Creation, and someone's trying to tune in for my other stuff or rewatch this video. They don't have to zoom ahead or backtrack to get to what they want to watch. So I'll be on, and again, in like 10-15 minutes as I shut everything down and upload it, go back to my normal stuff. But it's good that you made it. You can rewatch my video on my Twitch. You're rearranging your front room? Well, that sounds exciting. You can also watch their Twitch on their Ashes of Creation and by yourself if you want to. They have not only this past stream, but also several others. They've done, I think, 4 or 5 development updates, and so you can watch all those. I recommend following them on their Discord. They have a Discord where they announce everything, and it'll keep you updated on when they're streaming stuff. They have a YouTube channel. There's not a lot on it except for like these past streams that they repost, basically, and clips of certain things. A Facebook channel. Also, their webpage has they have a forum page where you can talk to other people and the devs more frequently, interact with them a little more. But thank you guys for watching. I'm really excited for the game. Hopefully you guys are too. And I'll keep you guys updated, and we'll watch again soon. Thanks.